depressed and out. So welcome to the nightclub, guys. It's your host, Night Wrencher. Now today I'm going to be showing you guys how to install a custom slave, or this could even be used for like a master cylinder if you were using like manual brakes. So this is a master cylinder for your clutch, and basically this was a older style. I don't know, let's see. So this is how the old clutch used to operate. It was like on a rod, and it was just kind of weird. No longer efficient for the LS that's in here. So for the NV3500 that it used to have, right now it's got the R150 Toyota. So for the NV3500, it had the holes for the slave. My dad actually installed it. You can see his excellent craftsmanship right there from when he installed it. I also used to have the old like firewall plug and then some other stuff right there. I've actually deleted all those holes, and then I just have a piece of diamond plate right there instead. This is for the emergency brake, and then this is for my hydro boost that I'll be showing you guys how to do in another video. So I need to go ahead and drill out the new holes. The only problem is, as you can see right here, this area right here, this is all going to be taken out because this is actually for a steering column. So you've got this hole, and this hole belong to a steering column, and then this belongs to the center. So I've got to stay away from all of that right there because it's just going to get, the cylinder gets in the way. So if I was to put this in the same location where we had it before, the issue that arises is that when you go to install it, the rod's going to be crooked. So if I put this right up against that hole, the centering hole, and put it flush up against the firewall, you can see the gap that's going to be made that I'm going to have to bridge. And if the rod has to be like this, there's going to be binding, and I'm going to have issues. So this rod, or I'm sorry, this master cylinder basically just comes like this, and it comes with a couple other options for the top, but it doesn't give you any options for the tip. So I went out to the local hardware store, and I picked myself up one of these, and I picked up myself a pin and a clip, and then the thread on this just happens to be this is a standard thread. I believe it's like 3/8 by 24 or something like that. So what I did was I installed the tip of this onto here, and then I went ahead and I measured, and it ended up being about 6.5 inches worth of rod. So a maximum length for the rod was 6.5 inches. So I had to find a spot that would give me 6.5 inches, more or less. Lucky for this pedal, the way it was designed before, it has an extreme amount of play, so I can go ahead and put it pretty much anywhere, so I have more than enough room to play with it, and then I could just adjust so that both pedals end up right around the same height. I was planning to install it toward the bottom, but I number one, didn't want it to interfere with anything that I had down here, and then number two, I also didn't want, you see how this thing is also a curved surface right here toward the bottom, and it was also going to be causing binding in the future. So my next option was just go to the opposite side of the spectrum and go all the way up, which is what I'm going to be doing, and it's going to be tucked in away right there. So the first thing is to measure the dimensions of this guy, and then the top dimensions, the side-to-side dimensions. You only need to worry about the circles on this side, because on the opposite side, that's where this is going to go. So I went ahead and went to local hardware store, picked myself up a hole saw. This is just slightly bigger than the hole for the slightly bigger than the hole for the master. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. After I've got the first hole set up, then I'll drill the other two holes on the opposite side, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and do this on a time lapse, and I'll see you guys after it's done. Okay, so this is it pretty much installed. The hardest part, oddly enough, was finding the correct bolts that'll get me that that tight clearance on this side. The reason you can't put in a bolt the opposite way is because of this neck right here. If they would have designed this a little, maybe even a 1/4 inch out forward, you'd be able to get a bolt in there, but as of right now I wasn't able to get anything. Another problem that I had was that I went a little bit too big on the hole saw. Not too much on the actual hole saw, but the problem is that when you go to use the hole saw, it'll begin to shake, and you'll probably go like about 1/8 of an inch too wide. But that's just standard. I was aware of that, but from where I had to go buy the hole saw, they went from 2 inches to 2.5, so there was no in between to take up that space. Another thing where I messed up was that it's not perfectly centered right there. I could probably fix that by just slotting the top hole a little bit to the driver's side, and that way I can get the entire plastic through, and then maybe get that a little bit more straight. But I'm actually, as you guys can see with the let's see if I can get this in focus. I got the pin in, good to go. I got the little I've got the little U thing, good to go. I've got the pin with the clip on this side, good to go. And then I'm going to show you travel right now. So this is no resistance, there's no fluid in it. But this is all the way depressed and all the way out. Depressed, out, depressed, and out. So it wasn't that hard. It probably took me anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. It took me a long time to find those bolts, but this is probably something anybody can do in their house. Just needs basically a drill, a couple different drill bits, and maybe buy that little hole saw thing. So hope this is just a quick video. Hope this was able to help someone in the future. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop a comment down below. I'll put the item number in the description of this particular cylinder. So you guys, if you guys feel like getting it, you guys can get it from there. So anyway, that's enough talking. I'll see you guys out in the next one. Night Wrencher out.